Hi there, welcome to another video. In this video I want to talk about this pair of cycling shoes that I just got. Cue titles. So I just picked up this pair of R900 Van Rysel shoes from Decathlon. They come with a full carbon sole. I find them very stiff, and full disclosure, this video is not sponsored. This pair of shoes cost me €140, and I'm going to talk to you today about what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and what I'm going to do with them. So I paid €140 for these shoes. They're not particularly cheap, but they're not ridiculously expensive. They're kind of a mid-price shoe. I think they're quite good value for what you get. I went to the store to try them on, Decathlon in Dublin, and trying them on is very important. I've had difficulty in the past in buying shoes online, and I've had to return them 9 times out of 10 because they don't fit. These are 45. I normally am a 43 in my City Chaos 5s or my physique shoes, so these seem to size smaller than reality. So it's worth trying them on. These shoes are packed with features. According to Decathlon's website, these shoes weigh 312 grams in a size 8.5, 45 grams of which come in the thermoformed sole liner. I weighed these shoes and I found the shoe to be 299 grams, and that means the gram total in a size 45 with the shoe and the liner is 345 grams per shoe. There's lots of ventilation in these shoes. There's a ventilation hole here and an exhaust hole here in the sole, and there's ventilation in the side walls, both inside and outside. So I think this would be a really good shoe for the summer. I'm unsure whether these shoes will be particularly useful in the winter because there's so much ventilation in them, but they do come made of a breathable material and quick drying material, and which is obviously a benefit. So what do I like about these shoes? Quite a lot, actually. There's a lot to like about these shoes. First and foremost, there's the design of them. I quite like the design of them. They're nice and neat looking. They're quite simple. They're not overly fussy. And I quite like that a lot. It comes with 2 adjustable dials on the outer side of the shoe, which is perfect for micro adjustments either on the fly, where you can tighten or loosen them. And I particularly like inside the shoe, there's a little padding here for the ankle. I have particularly narrow ankles, and I hate when you push down and pull up on the pedal, you can feel your heel and ankle moving inside the shoe. And of course, they're designed to fit most cleats available. I use Look cleats. You might use something else, but you can see there's markings there on the sole to allow for those adjustment and fitting of your cleats. So what do I not like about these shoes? Well, actually not a lot really. As I said, there's lots of positives about them. The negatives are very minor, but they do bother me slightly. The first thing that bothers me are these rubberized heels. These heels are integrated as part of the sole, which means that when they wear down, and they will wear down from walking on them, you won't be able to replace the heel, which means that you're probably going to have to throw your shoe out at that stage, which is not great for the environment. City and other manufacturers, you can get replaceable heel caps, which will add to the longevity of your shoe. One other issue I have with these shoes is the positioning of the tongue. The tongue is integrated as part of one side of the shoe and is loose on the other. I tend to prefer a tongue that's independent of either side of the upper, and I find that a better fit. But you know, it's not insurmountable. The other issue to think about is that inside this tongue there is a little label. So it's worth remembering to take that label out of the shoe before wearing them. So as I said, overall, I think these are a good shoe. I think they're a reasonably good value. They're not cheap, as I said, but they're not ridiculously expensive, and I'm looking forward to getting them out on the road and wearing them. So why did I buy these shoes? Well, clearly I bought them to wear on the bike, but I also bought them for another reason. I bought them to customize them. So I was specifically going out looking for a shoe that was white with a simple design on it that I could customize and make it my own. So how am I going to customize these shoes? Well, I thought long and hard about it, and I decided I would make a homage to Team Toshiba from the 1980s. So I set about designing livery based on their cycling kit. So first thing I did was I jumped into Adobe Illustrator. I managed to get a photograph of the shoes from the Decathlon site. I imported that in, and then I used my design skills to develop up a livery based on the Toshiba jersey. So I settled on this design with a red toe cap, green, black and blue stripes, as you see on the Toshiba cap and jersey. So what next? Now I have my design settled, I need to transfer my design onto my shoes, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the design before painting. So that's the first part of the masking done. I've masked off the toe and I've masked off the heel area on both shoes, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the surface and prep the surface using acetone before giving it a coat of acrylic primer.
I'm staying up, it's getting late, you're doing good, I'm doing great, hours of practice, they don't feel like working, overthinking.
So that's the priming done. I've let the primer cure for a couple of hours and now I'm ready to start the next stage of painting. But before painting, I decided to pop along to my local art and hobby shop, and I bought some of this vinyl lettering that I'm going to use as a stencil to create the word Toshiba across the front of the shoe. I'm hoping that it'll mask the paint off properly and I won't be left with any kind of runny edges, and now the next thing to do is to start painting. So I popped along to the Dublin leather store and I bought some of these Angelus leather paints. They're specific for painting on leather, and they're acrylic paint. As I said, I've used an acrylic primer, so it should work. So let's get painting.
I do it for the ones that came before and nearly died for me. Recognition, I'm on a mission. I'm paying dues, I'm in position. I'm staying up, it's getting late. You're doing good, I'm doing great. Recognition, I'm on a mission.
So I've now given the shoes 2 coats of red on the top, very light coats. I try to get the paint as smooth as possible. I'm going to let this dry for a while and then I'm going to come back and give it another coat. I'm quite happy how it turned out. The stenciling was okay, I'll be honest. I had to retouch the stenciling with some white acrylic paint. I'm going to let that sit for a while, and then what I'll probably do is coat this with a clear lacquer just to kind of seal it off, and then take the masking tape off to see how it worked out. New day, new t-shirt. I was very happy how the lacquer turned out on the toe. So what I've done now is I have masked off the stripy pattern with some more masking tape, and I have taken the liberty of coating it with primer, and now I'm going to get it into painting the next stage.
I was main stage with Tiny at a festival. Reality's a just less than 24 hours past and I'm back to working. The wage isn't minimum, but when you know your worth is more, you make your own curriculum. Studying the industry, I know you see me killing them. Nice, it felt so real, I had some moments I was living them. Celebrity, civilian, walk amongst the greats that you ignore, the ones relentlessly pursuing every key to every door. It's evergreen and evermore if you're content with...
Painting done, another coat of lacquer, and I've removed the tape. All that's left, the big reveal. Here we go. What do you guys think? I think they look fantastic. I'm really happy how they turned out. Nice strong colours from the Angelus paints. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you were going to customise a shoe, what would you do? All that's left for me to do now is to fit my cleats and get out on the road.